Welcome to Hunter x Hunter Theory. What do you think would have happened if Hisoka and Illumi had joined the extermination team of Chimera Ant? There are rumors that Hisoka and Illumi would have killed the Royal Guards in an instant if they fought, and they were not included in the story. In this video, I would like to think about whether Hisoka and Illumi can really kill 3 members of the Royal Guards in an instant. Since Hisoka, Illumi and the Royal Guards never crossed paths in the storyline, I would like to use 2 comparisons. 1. Netero. The first comparison is Netero. Netero was defeated by Meruem, king of Chimera Ant. While Netero was fighting Meruem, he remembered the height of perfection that he had sought in the past and said, "I dreamed of giving my heart and soul to battle an unstoppable adversary." Netero himself admits that Meruem is a superior opponent. And even Netero's final attack, Zero Hand, only inflicted a scratch on Meruem. In other words, there is a considerable difference in strength between Meruem and the old soldier Netero. This gap would not have been filled even if Netero was in his prime. When Netero saw Pito, he jokingly said, not good. That one looks stronger than me. And a little later, we might not be able to complete this mission without sacrificing someone. So I guess he really thought so. Then Novu says, "Stronger than you, Chairman? Surely you jest." If that were true, there'd be no hunter in the world who could stand a chance. And then Netero says, "It's been more than half a century when I was the most powerful Nen master." But then Novu says in his conversation with Morel, he was trying to be modest, but he's still much stronger than us, which objectively shows that the old soldier, Netero, is the strongest among the hunters. It is hard to imagine any other hunter being able to defend against the 100-type Guanyin Bodhisattva 99th hand that he showed in the fight against Meruem. Netero is the strongest among the hunters, but when he showed his aura to Colt, he said, "You probably won't even be able to touch him. You'd be killed by one of the Royal Guards first." I think Netero's fighting instincts were still dormant at this time, and he regained his true strength by unifying his mind from this point, but still he is not as good as Meruem, but as good as Yuppie or Pito. Now that we know that Netero and the Royal Guards are at best equal in strength, we can now consider the difference in strength between Netero, Hisoka, and Illumi. Hisoka and Illumi are definitely in the top class of hunters, but it is hard to believe that Hisoka and Illumi are better than Netero in terms of ability, as seen in the conversation between Netero and Novu and the battle between Meruem and Netero. After the conversation with Colt, Netero says, "A challenger at my age? What a thrill," and he is remembering the height of perfection during the fight with Meruem. On the other hand, Hisoka said, "For the record, I'd very much like to fight you right now," at the individual meeting between Netero and Hisoka before the final hunter test, but Netero completely ignored it. Chimera Ant is the enemy to be defeated and Hisoka is not, but I think it is also true that Netero didn't get a thrill from seeing Hisoka. Since Illumi received a score of 9.5 on Hisoka's scale, we can assume that Hisoka and Illumi are very competitive, and that Netero probably had the same impression of Illumi's ability. Therefore, although the actual battle scene is not depicted, it is certain that Hisoka and Illumi's ability is lower than Netero's. If we consider Netero as a comparison, it is impossible that Hisoka and Illumi could kill the Royal Guards in an instant. 2. Phaeton. Next, the second comparison is Phaeton. Phaeton battled with Zazen, the squadron leaders of Chimera Ant. The result was that Zazen was defeated by Phaeton's special move, Rising Sun, but as I watched the battle, the two were on a par with each other until about halfway through. Rising Sun is the result of Pain Packer, the ability to transform pain into power, and the fact that Rising Sun was unleashed with such power means that Zazen inflicted a lot of pain on Phaeton. Therefore, although Phaeton won due to the difference in ability and experience, it is safe to say that Zazen's ability is equal to or slightly lower than Phaeton's. Next, let's consider the difference between Zazen and the Royal Guards. The squadron leaders of Chimera Ant are Leol, Chitu, Welfin, Colt, etc. besides Zazen, but Zazen is considered to be one of the strongest among the squadron leaders because of the fact that he was able to compete evenly with Phaeton. However, Zazen is a squadron leader and is far below the Royal Guards. The various descriptions of the squadron leaders, such as Colt's comments and Ramo's reaction to Pito, show that there is an overwhelming difference in strength between the Royal Guards and others in the Chimera Ant ranks, with the exception of Meruem. Therefore, it can be expected that Phaeton is no match for the Royal Guards. Next, let's consider the difference between Phaeton, Hisoka and Illumi. We can only guess at the difference between Phaeton, Hisoka and Illumi, since there is no description of them actually fighting, but Hisoka was teaming up with Kurapika to fight Crollo in the York New City arc. The reason for this is because he's always with at least two others. If the gap in strength between Hisoka and the members of the Phantom Troop was so wide, there was no need to team up with Kurapika and it would have been enough to surprise them. However, the fact that Hisoka went to the trouble of teaming up with Kurapika to separate Crollo from the troop members suggests that Hisoka has infiltrated the Phantom Troop, has seen the troop members' abilities up close, and recognizes them for what they are. Furthermore, Phaeton is probably a combatant like Nobunaga and Finks among the troop members, and the fact that the other troop members ran away when he invoked Rising Sun suggests that he is a top-class player. Therefore, there is a possibility that the difference in ability between Hisoka and Phaeton is not that great, but rather Phaeton is better than Hisoka. If Hisoka and Illumi's strength is the same as Phaeton's, then we can expect them to be a little stronger than Zazen. Even if we consider Phaeton as a comparison, it is impossible that Hisoka and Illumi can kill the Royal Guards in an instant. On the contrary, the Royal Guards are far superior to them in terms of combat power. If Poof, who is not a combatant in the Royal Guards, is the opponent, he might put up a good fight, but there is no way that he can kill him in an instant. Of course, it is possible that Hisoka and Illumi could defeat one of the Royal Guards by targeting and preparing seriously, just as Crollo was able to defeat Hisoka by preparing carefully and winning a complete victory, but it would be difficult to kill him in an instant. It is hard to say who will win in the end, depending on their tactics, but in any case, Hisoka and Illumi will definitely have to prepare carefully or make considerable sacrifices in order to defeat the Royal Guards. As for the battle in Nen ability, Morel says, you never know what your adversary's ability is. A slight hesitation can cause a fatal turnabout. Having more or less aura isn't much of an excuse. The outcome is always in fluctuation. That's the essence of Nen combat. And still always fight like you're 100% confident you'll win. That's how much guts you gotta have to be a Nen master. It could change depending on the situation, but it would be wrong to say that Hisoka and Illumi can kill the Royal Guards in a blink of an eye. These are my thoughts on could Hisoka and Illumi kill the Royal Guards in an instant. If you have any other comments or opinions about this video, I would be very happy to hear them in the comments section. Thank you for watching the video till the end. To all Hunter x Hunter fans, let's continue to enjoy Hunter x Hunter together. I will continue to put up more videos, so please click the good button and subscribe to my channel. See you again in the next video. Ciao!